playground.
Hooray!
Subscribe, support, and check out all new episodes on thesbkshow.com.
SBK!
Bangers, welcome to the SBK Show. I'm your host, SBK. The website is thesbkshow.com. Thank you for listening, thank you for supporting, and thank you for tuning in. This is episode 13 of the SBK Show. I'm your host, SBK. And you know, it has to be bad luck 13, if you believe in that. And I know it's October, so y'all believe in all kind of goblins and shit. But I don't believe in luck. I guess if I was to believe in luck, I believe in bad luck. But you can't have bad without good, because that's the way the universe balances things out. The yin and the yang, the negative, the positive, the masculine, the feminine. All types of things have to connect like Voltron to keep this thing going. So if you in tune to the world today, then you're listening to the voice of the SBK. And I want to thank you for listening. But no, I don't believe in luck as a general thing. Here's what I believe. I believe that the world is in motion. I believe in cause and effect. I don't necessarily believe in karma. I don't believe in any of these things that are popularized in pop culture or old time sayings. What I believe in what's tried and true. And I believe that things happen in a cycle, and I believe things happen because of happenstance. I think a lot of stuff is random. I do believe in a higher power, but I don't believe that there is this force out there called luck, and it sprinkles down like pixie dust on some people, and then sometimes there's another, the bad luck demon or whatever is like sprinkling down shit on people. I don't believe stuff like that happens. I think that let's say you eat a bad diet all your life and you get a horrible disease and you die. I believe you died. I keep saying I believe. Maybe this episode should be called SBK Believes. But maybe you died because you had a shitty diet and that did you in. Then you say, what about people who eat the bad diet and live to be 100? Then I go back to genes. And that's just the luck of the draw. Some of us have shit for DNA, and some of us, no matter what we do, no matter how much you brush your teeth, them joints gonna be rotten. You ever see people with rotten teeth? Yo, those people brush their teeth. They just have it in their gene structure, their genetic structure, to have rotten teeth. Their mama had rotten teeth, their grandma had rotten teeth, all of their aunties got rotten teeth, and that ain't got nothing to do with Colgate. That's just the way it is. Some people are predestined to be big. Some people have the alcohol gene, the drug gene, the addictive gene. And I just think that a lot of times what we can do is maybe alter some of those circumstances. For instance, let's say you are born in a family that has a predisposition to have high blood pressure. I don't think you can necessarily do something to change that, but you can exercise and consume less sodium, and maybe you might have a better outcome with the gene structure that you have. I can give a million examples, but I think you get it. If you want a true and living example, look no further than me. I had to have a life-saving kidney transplant. My doctor told me when I was getting checked out and going through that whole transplant thing, we were talking about why my kidneys failed. My doctor looked me dead in the eye and he told me, I'm surprised you made it this far. Then he went on to say, no matter what I had done in my life because of my specific kidney disease and the way it came about, he said there was nothing that you could have done to avoid being in this situation right now. And that brought it home to me. You can try your best. Now, what did I do? I prolonged a bad outcome by, hey, you look at me, you know me. I'm not necessarily some health nut here, but I tell you what I do. Back to balance. I do live in balance. What I mean by that is I might eat 4 slices of bacon and wash that sucker down with one of them green smoothies. You know, if I'm eating a piece of fried food, you're not supposed to eat fried food. Then the next thing I put in my mouth is going to be something nutritious, like a salad or some fruit. I have some fruit, then I'm doing good with the positive, then I might have to have me some tequila after that. You know, it's not like I do this stuff on purpose. I just kind of look at it like, well, I got to put in good to counteract the bad. So anyway, once you accept what you're working with and you acknowledge it, then you can do some things to change those situations or maybe make your outcome more positive. But that ain't what I want to talk about. I want to start this episode. I guess I've already started it. I want to continue this episode. I just want to talk. You can't judge a book by its cover. And I know that's a saying. And just because something sounds catchy and you hear it all the time and they meme it up and they TikTok you, doesn't mean that it's true. But some sayings are rooted in truth. And you can't judge a book by its cover is one of those things that I do believe in, because I believe that I've been judged by my cover and people don't know me. And that's what I like about the podcast. This podcast doesn't fall randomly on people. People had to seek it out. Either you clicked on a link on Twitter at The Soul Brother. Maybe you saw it on a Facebook post. Maybe you subscribe to it on your Apple Podcasts or your Google Play, whatever, however you get the podcast. You probably had to do a Google search for it, and you typed in The SBK Show. You sought it out. So to seek it out means that, you know, maybe you're interested in what I'm talking about. And if you are listening, you'll see that the podcast has changed somewhat. I don't necessarily know that it's funny or that there's much humor in it, but I don't know that that's what I'm necessarily going for. At this point in my life, with the radical change that it's took, I just sometimes just want to vent and talk and tell you some things that I'm going through or some things I experience. And not judging a book by its cover is something that was reinforced to me time and time again since I've entered the career of being a professional truck driver. I'm trying to make it sound all fancy, but I'm just a trucker. Before we get into the truck convo, because I had some interesting things happen, let's take a phone call. The phone lines are back up. I had some technical issues, but you can now call and leave a message for the show at 407-276-0619. This will be in the show notes, but in case you're listening right now, 407-276-0619.
Hey, SBK. This is Luis Q from Orlando, and love the fact that we got new shows coming in. It's always good to hear your voice, brother. And just cracked me up when you were talking about having a shit in the bucket. And when I was working at a dry cleaners some years ago, piping would break, and the owner would take an awful long time to get repairs going. So I was there bright and early, and I had my morning duty, had to take my morning crap, and I had to line up a bucket with plastic and take a shit. So yeah, that just brought back memories. But sorry you have to go through that. That sucks. All right, man. Be good. Good to hear from you.
Man, I prefer the shit in the bucket. My bucket is cleaner than any bathroom you can go into. You have to think of how many people came into that bathroom and took a shit right there in a given day. Now, I know most of the people don't do the routine that I do. I usually carry my own disinfectant in a public bathroom, right? So what I have to do is I spray the whole thing with some sort of antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-whatever, nut dust, all of that. And you got to spray it. I lift the seat up and down, underneath, all around, on the floor, all under it, because all of that piss is on the floor, all of this kind of stuff. Even the cleanest public bathroom ain't got nothing on my shit bucket. So then once you spray all that stuff, you got to let it sit for about a minute. I let the germs fight it out with that antimicrobial. And then I sit back and I look at it. And then I wipe off the seat and then right up under it. And I even get around that inner bowl. And then I take some toilet paper and I don't put it on the toilet seat. I actually trust the actual toilet seat after I disinfect it. But then I take some toilet paper and wrap it up a little bit, and get me a little wad of it. And I place it on the top side of my penis because my penis would rest on the inside of that bowl. Now, I don't know if y'all ever think about that, and there's probably some money to be made in a product that could do that. I don't want my dick touching the inside of a public toilet bowl. And when you think of it like that, I'll be taking a dump in the truck. Gotta wait 3 hours for your truck to get fixed. You gotta wait for a shipper to unload you. I'll be shitting in the truck because I've seen some unspeakable horrors, in a public bathroom. Not me, bro. And I know they say you shouldn't shit where you eat and sleep and all of that. But I tell you what, bro, it's the best thing going when you got your own toilet. And wait, winter is coming. And I'll be damned if I'm on the backside of a truck parking lot and it's snowing or something below zero and I gotta put clothes on. You wake up out of a dead sleep, you put clothes on, and you walk half a mile to get to a goddamn toilet, a public filthy toilet, and then you go back and then go to sleep. Man, you're gonna be wide awake once that cold hits your ass. So, man, the toilet in the truck, it's a bucket with a liner, and I use kitty litter or some of those pellets, those pine pellets. Best thing going. And I'm always at truck stops, so I'll use it, put some more pine pellets on top of it, spray my Renews it, and then before you know it, I gotta stop again, wrap it up, throw it away. And that's either at a truck stop or a rest area. Now, I'm not a total dirtbag. I try to, make sure I'm not doing that. But, it's all good, and I don't mind taking a shit in the bucket. Thanks for calling.
Hey, SBK, it's Deacon. What is going on? Let me say, I'm glad to hear you back. But let me also ask you, I was thinking, since with your new gig and all, you be all over the place, what I would really like to hear, and it's just a suggestion, is you bring back the beer of the week. Beer of the month, even beer of the couple months. Because I know that you get more opportunities to try different craft beers that I may have never heard of. And I really like that part when you used to be on the radio. So I would just put that suggestion out there. I'd love to hear your beer of the week. Thank you, sir. And fingers.
I would love to do something like that, but I got to be honest with you. My consumption of beer is down dramatically for a couple of reasons. This is not such a leisurely job where I can be riding down county halfway in the bag off of some beer. Now, I know you're not suggesting that I drink and drive a big ass truck, but just have like a beer segment so I can maybe, I'm all around. I might encounter different beers. So far, I gotta say that I am impressed with Florida. You don't know how good you have it in Florida. I can name all the states I've been to. I have not been to a state yet that has a better beer selection. And I'm not talking about at a brewery. I'm just saying when you walk into your convenience store, your 7-Eleven. Man, a lot of these places, like I went to, where was I, in Indiana? How about in Indiana, they don't even sell cold beer. I was in South Dakota, and they had like Bud Light, Budweiser, Miller Lite, and Corona. You go, and they're not even in a respectable size. You couldn't get anything smaller than a 24 ounce. Now they got all of these other kind of hard lemonade, hard seltzers, some kind of mixed drink in a can, all kind of foolishness. But if you want I'll put a 7-Eleven anywhere in Florida's beer selection up against most states that I go to. And it's a damn shame. I would love to have a beer with you. I would love to drink some beer. Mostly when I drink a beer, it's kind of not the same anymore. There's a lot of stuff that's just not the same. Hey, but it's the way it is. When I'm off on the weekends, I might have a beer or two if I go somewhere to maybe watch a game or eat some chicken wings. But the thing about being in the truck, you need to be so focused. I can't afford to be hungover. I can't afford to have an off day because I'm not feeling right because maybe I twisted them back a little bit. So if I have some time off and I'm not anywhere near the truck, I'll have a drink or two, but just not with the same gusto that I used to drink with. Another fact, you as a CDL driver, there's all kind of federal laws and federal laws and regulations where you're not allowed to have beer in your truck or any alcohol for that matter. I could be in a crazy state that has a great beer selection and I say, I want to tuck away a 6-pack of this. If my truck gets pulled over by Johnny Law while I'm riding down county and he wants to go through it from front to back and he finds beer in there, even unopened, straight to the pokey. It just doesn't, for me, it's not worth the risk to put my CDL at risk because I worked hard to get it. I barely have it. And I don't need nothing that's going to impair me from driving. Trust that. I have to be focused. But I'm glad that you called. And that is something I could probably figure out. But usually my consumption of beer and the recording of this show are two things that are, just don't really happen around the same time. Honestly, right now, the only reason why I was able to record today, because I drive the truck about 10 hours a day. And that's not 10 hours straight. Usually I'll drive about 5 hours. I'll take a 30-minute break, and then I'll drive 5 more hours. And that's a typical day. I don't get 10 in every day, but I'm sliding down county. I'm driving. I got the hammer down. I'm putting the miles in. I'm hauling ass. And by hauling ass, I mean 67 miles an hour, top speed. I'm actually in my truck right now recording this episode from the Kenworth dealership. Yeah, real truckers drive Kenworths, Peterbilts. Everything else, I can't really respect it, but you got to do what you got to do. My truck, waiting for the technician to come look at my truck, it keeps blowing fuses, and the fuses won't allow my truck to power the lights on the trailer. And you don't want to get pulled over like that, because you get pulled over with one little thing, it gives them an end to keep inspecting. Truck business is highly regulated, and they make you jump through all types of hoops. So the best thing you want to do is keep your truck clean and keep everything orderly, so if you do get pulled over for a random inspection, they don't go digging any deeper. But you cannot haul a trailer if the lights don't work. I know y'all car drivers don't pay attention to damn lights on a trailer anyway, let alone turn signals. Turn signals? What is that? But I've been waiting for a couple of hours. I took me a nap. I made me some breakfast. I made some dinner for later. And then I said, might as well knock this podcast out. Can't say that I'm always in the best mood to record a podcast because stuff is happening. Like right now, I'm thrown off from my route. I had a route. I was supposed to go to Chicago from Chattanooga, but that's going to get pushed back. So they'll probably take that route from me, and I won't go to Chicago. And once this is done, I'll have somewhere else I got to go. But check this out. I don't even have an ETA. I'm sitting in the truck waiting on them to look at it so they could diagnose it, then tell me how long it's going to take them to fix it. That's just a part of the gig. But guess what else is not happening? I ain't making no money. Now, you do get breakdown pay, but breakdown pay is just, it's nothing compared to what you get for driving. And like they say in trucking, if the wheels ain't turning, you ain't earning.
This is Uncle Dennis. SBK knows me. My girlfriend is stuck in the Ukraine, and I want to talk to SBK. I want to put it out there because I'm trying to get her out of there. I'm an Army vet, and if nobody's going to help me, then I'm going to have to go on a plane and get over there and get her myself. The Russians are over there, and this is all serious. I know it sounds like a joke, but I'm not afraid of the Russians.
And this is where we have to end this call. I love you, Uncle Dennis, and I hope everything works out, but I am afraid of the Russians. All of them. I don't want nothing to do with that Vladimir Putin business, but I know you, and I know you would get over there and get on a plane because you're a man with a certain set of skills, and you believe in pugilism. I didn't play the rest of Uncle Dennis's call because it got into some really personal areas, and he gave out some personal information that I didn't really think would be a good look, because I love Uncle Dennis. I appreciate him. He's always supported me and the show and anything that I've ever done. And I will call him and I'll get a follow-up with Uncle Dennis. But I can't play the rest of that call. And I know it's a serious thing, but I want to know how he hooked up with a Ukrainian chick. Oh, I'll play this part.
That's one of the reasons why I don't have high blood pressure at almost 65, because I've learned to say, well, you can't change fate. Anyway, I understand that you're his front man, but I would very much appreciate it if you get this message to him.
Yes, I am a truck man. The message has gotten to me. I wonder if Uncle Dennis realized that I'm the one that's putting the number out. By the way, the number is 407-276-0619. You give me a call, and sometimes I'll pick up the phone, but sometimes I won't. If I pick up the phone and talk to you before you leave your message, or you have a question or a comment or something you want me to comment on, it usually messes up the actual call, and I have to put the show first and you second. But you are the show, so you are technically first. Uncle Dennis said he doesn't believe in fate. I don't know if I believe in fate, unless we're talking you can seal your fate. Fate means that it's destined to happen. Something it's inevitable. Like, it's fate. It was supposed to be. The stars were aligned. I don't think I believe in that either. That would go in the realm of luck to me. And I think you make your own luck, good or bad. But I don't believe in it. Not 1 second. If I hit the lottery today, that ain't luck. I had the right numbers. How did I get them? Happenstance, just so happened. Does Puerto Rico have bad luck because of this hurricane? No. It just happens to be situated in a certain region where hurricanes come through. All you can do is prepare or move. In the desert, in some remote countries in Africa where they can't grow food, is that bad luck? It's weather conditions. That's the way the land is. It's just the way things are. I don't believe in luck. Damn.
Hey, brother. I hope everything's okay. It's been a month plus since your last episode. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Fingers.
Obviously, this guy doesn't know that I started re-recording the episodes. So, I don't know, man. That's the luck of the draw. The SBKShow.com. You can always go there. You can always see what's going on with me. And if you didn't know, that's because you hadn't been to the SBKShow.com.
Yo, SBK, what's up, man? It's Todd from Tam Tam the Sandwich Man. I don't know if you remember me, but you watched me eat a really hot chicken wing one time and then cry while I drank a PBR at the Copper Rocket a long ass time ago. And we were on your show for a time for your local segment. Anyway, I don't know. I was calling because it's been a minute since your podcast went up, and I've been listening. I've been meaning to call, and I never did, because life and shit and work and all that. Anyway, I hope you're doing all right. I'm not rushing you. Take your time. You could take a year to release another episode. I'll be there. Anyway, checking the website. Maybe I should check it again. I don't know. But most of all, I really hope you're okay, man. Where are you then? All right. Fingers.
Yeah, Todd, I remember you. Todd from Tam Tam and the Sandwich Man. Now, I was trying to figure out if you was the Sandwich Man or you was Tam Tam. But I don't think either exists. I don't think there's a Tam Tam. And, well, I mean, maybe you do enjoy a sandwich or two. Man, I remember those days. Those were good days, man. And I hope you're still doing your music. If you are, send me some. If not, man, what happened, dog? I guess It's like I ain't doing the podcast. I never stop doing the podcast. I might take breaks, but I don't keep it. I'm trying to keep it going. I'm trying to be consistent, and I'm trying to do what I do. So there's a good thing about that. Some good days there, Todd. We've drank many a beer at the Copper Rocket. Used to be my favorite watering hole in Maitland, Florida. Man, beer is the common theme. I might need to get me a damn beer. I might need to do something like that. But I appreciate you rocking with me. So, the lesson I learned in trucking this week, and there's always a lesson to learn. The beautiful part about this job, it's not really the scenery that you get to go around the country and you see some amazing visuals. No, that's not what I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for, not visuals, but not scenery. There's a word I'm looking for that escapes me right now. Anyway, all of these things are great. You get to see some things that you're not accustomed to. I'm accustomed to Florida, palm trees, swamp, and flat land. Now I get to go around the country and see rolling hills and vistas. That is the word I was looking for. Beautiful vistas and just places that you can appreciate just from beauty, nature, and just seeing something different and taking it all in. I don't have a lot of time to do that because I'm driving and I'm focused on driving. But I found myself in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm there. I'm getting unloaded. When I back into the dock, these guys got to unload the truck. And I promise you, I didn't know whether to back into the dock or step on the gas and run everybody over. These people look like the devil's rejects. I ain't even talking about the movie. But Knoxville, Tennessee, where I do have a theory, and I need to do a little research because a lot of people there, let's just say, how can I say it? Some odd people. People that can't get right. Something happened in Knoxville, Tennessee. Maybe they all came down here from New Jersey. Fuck New Jersey. And next is going to be fuck Atlanta. The traffic in Atlanta, man, come on. It will make you hate Atlanta. Do it in a truck, then get back to me. So looking at these guys, I probably would have thought, and this is human nature, I think, to sometimes look at people and do somewhat of a prejudge. I think that that's human nature because you're looking at a set of information, maybe haircut, maybe appearance, just the vibe you get, and it just looked like these people were not going to be cool. Ended up being some of the coolest people I ever met. Felt bad that I thought otherwise before I had to engage with them, but after hanging out with them for a little while, at working and everything, unloading, it just was not what I expected. And that is the beauty of what I experienced in trucking, is that you go all around the country and the accents might change, the style of dress or the presentation might change a little bit, but there's a lot of good people in this country. And when you get out there and get out of your comfort zone and you meet them, you'll see that a lot of times the media puts us at odds against each other. And we have these labels and these groups and these tribes that we all belong to. But I haven't found a person yet that I've encountered that's not looking for the same thing in life that I'm looking for in this short, miserable existence we have on the planet. And it's only miserable because we be connected to some bullshit, we focus on some bullshit, and then we wonder why we have bad luck. Well, where do you put your energy? And I do believe in energy. You might say that energy is not something, if you walk in a room and you feel something or your hair stand up on the back of your arm, I ain't talking about no ghosts or no orbs or nothing like that. I'm just talking about energy. But baby, man, maybe I'm going to have to come back to all of this because I might be going against what I said earlier. Yeah, I might be a little bit, but I do believe in energy. And that energy took me from Knoxville, Tennessee to Summershade, Kentucky. All right. So usually what I deal with are distribution centers or maybe mom and pop stores who have deliveries. I deliver certain things for the company I work for, but usually big centers where there's a bunch of truck bays, bunch of trucks, shipping office, receiving office, and driveways big enough to accommodate semis and just kind of the trucker side of town. near the truck route. You have one in every town. You probably don't notice it, but it's there. I'm driving down the street, and that's an understatement. I'm in the mountains of Kentucky, Summershade, Kentucky. I don't even know where that is. Just picture middle of nowhere. You don't want to get stuck, and you probably don't want the sun to set on your black ass either. However, I could have enjoyed the views, the vistas, if you will, from this area if there wasn't a bunch of up and down, windy, steep roads and hills and mountains and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of times I try to keep my head forward and not look to the right because I don't want to see how high up in the mountains I am. That's just where I'm at right now. Maybe I'll get more comfortable later and I can look around and let me stop and take a picture. Selfie on the side of a mountain, don't slip and fall. Nah, I keep it straight. I keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard. That's the yellow line and the white line. That's how I do it. Riding down county, focused on driving, trying not to hit people, trying to make sure people don't hit me. And we keep it just like that, get there on time. My dispatcher calls me and says, hey, I want to call you before you may get in an area where you don't have cell phone reception. And I'm like, okay. He goes, now this is a kind of odd delivery you're doing here. You're going to a manufacturing place where they make bed frames, and you're going to pick up your trailer. This place looks like it's in a neighborhood, but it's not real. It is a neighborhood, but there's a factory in the middle of it, and the factory wasn't that big. Probably as big as maybe if you put 4 double wide mobile homes together. He says, well, there's going to be a barn. And the barn is going to be open, and there's 2 docks in the barn. The trailer you're going to pick up is in the barn, and then you're going to drop your trailer next to that trailer. I said, okay. He said, just wanted to give you a heads up because it's going to look kind of weird. I find the place. It's the narrowest of gravelly / dirt roads that end up hooking back up to a road that's paved, but probably big enough for 1.5 cars to go down. So that means a whole semi can go down it, but not much else. To my left is a mountain and then a little brook, kind of stream going, winding around with the little rocks and pebbles. If I wasn't focused on the driving, yeah, all of this stuff looks great. But screw that. It's almost dark. I'm trying to get in this place and get out and back to civilization before my clock runs out and before the sun runs out. I find the place, and I'm not sure if it's the place. Then I see the barn. I see the trailer that I'm supposed to pick up, and I make a right-hand turn. I go up into this incline that there's a gully on both sides with a little bit of it's a dirt and gravel with rocks and everything, and then it's a little bit of grass on the left and right side, but then like a little gully. And what I mean by that is a kind of a narrow ditch that if my tires got in it, I would be stuck. I'm driving. I actually have an empty trailer, and I'm going to pick up this loaded trailer with the bed mattress frames in it. As I am about halfway up the driveway on an incline, my truck gets stuck in the gravel and starts spinning rocks back. I'm getting no traction, and I'm not going forward. I said, oh, shit. So I back up and I try it again, and I try to go a little bit more to the right to get some new gravel with some new traction. Get stuck again. About that time, I see a pickup truck coming down the street. And I'm like, here we go. This guy gets out of the pickup truck, and he looks just like what you would think you would see in rural Kentucky. It's about dusk now. Guy comes out of the truck and he says, I see guys go up and down this all the time. And I say, what do they do? And he said, man, you're going to have to back up into the street. I'll spot you. He goes, but I really don't need to spot you because nobody comes down this street except for the 4 or 5 people that live on this road. He says, but back on up in the street, give yourself a running start, and then take that turn at about 30 miles an hour. Now, this guy doesn't know what I know is that there's no way I'm going to take a turn at 30 miles an hour in the truck on this gravel next to the gully. So I back up. I get it going good. Nowhere near 30 miles an hour. That's ridiculous. I could have jackknifed the truck. I could have rolled the trailer. I could have done all kind of stuff. But then I do get enough speed to make it up that incline. Make it up the incline, and then it's like a overgrown grass kind of a situation and more of the gravel rock driveway. Barely enough room for me to turn my truck around so I can have it facing the dock and then back in. I finally switched the trailers out. I drop the empty trailer. I pull up around. I pick up the loaded trailer. I handle my paperwork. I enter the stuff in my computer. And now I have about 2.5 hours to get to the nearest truck stop. The nearest truck stop is about 2.5 hours away. One thing I don't like about back roads is that you don't have access to facilities. You're in the middle of nowhere, and you never know if you break down how long you're going to be stranded if your cell phone works. But it can just be uncomfortable, tad bit uncomfortable for me. I stick to interstates because guess what's on every exit of an interstate? Damn near every exit, you're 1 or 2 exits away from a truck stop or a truck repair facility or a hotel if you need it, or civilization, or anything that you might need that you can't get in the middle of Summershade, Kentucky. Man, I put my GPS in. As soon as I put my GPS in, it tells me to turn right. Now, I came in turning left. It's getting me to go the opposite direction of which I came in. I drive about a mile down the street where it says there's a truck stop. I had to go check it out before I decided to invest in going 2.5 hours through the mountains. It would have been at nighttime. Not the favorite scenario for the soul brother. That's not what I prefer. I go down to this truck stop at the end of the street, and it is a truck stop in name only. It's a truck stop where I can get fuel, and then it's a convenience store attached to it. Cars on one side, trucks on the other side. Parking lot's so small you can barely make your truck in there to even get to the fuel, and then there's no parking. There's nowhere you can park even if they said you could park there. So I pull in through there and I go, this ain't gonna work. 2.5 hours down the county to get to a rest stop, a safe haven if you will. My GPS tells me to pull out of the truck stop thing, and it tells me to go right and then take the next right. Well, now guess where that's going? That's going right back in the direction that I came. So it's taking me in a circle. At that point, I motherfucked the GPS for a minute, but what's even crazier than that, I have 2 GPSs. I run 2 GPSs. I figure one of them will be right, and if not, they can get together, talk to each other, and decide which way to go. None of that is working out for me, so I had to make a decision. And to me, truck driving is all about decision making and trip planning and just kind of figuring stuff out on your own. That's really what they want you to be able to do. Make a decision, make the right decision, do the best you can. I make that right-hand turn, and at that point, I decided I'm going right back to this gravel lot where I picked up my trailer. I'm going to back in, and I'm going to sleep out here for the night. That's what I decided to do. I also decided that I didn't need to follow my GPS because I knew how to get back there. Well, let's just say there was 3 left turns that I could have taken that would have took me down a little narrow path that hooked up to that road with the stream or brook by it that gets me right back there to where the mattress place is. Yeah, there's 3 roads that I could have took a left on. Well, one of them was the wrong road, and that's the road I took. I turned down, which looks like I'm going into a guy's driveway, but it keeps going over a hill and then down the hill. As I turn in, fully committed, off the road, truck and 53 feet of trailer off the road, I see this guy out of the corner of my eye waving both of his arms on the top of his head. And he comes kind of jogging, trotting out to the truck. And I get out of the truck. I walk up to him. He says, "Hey, man, you turned down the wrong road." Now, this road happens to drive right through his property. So he's got like a little workshop on one side, a house on the left, and there's a little road down the middle. He had a minivan parked right by the house in between on that road to kind of block it off. He can do that. It's his land. We in Summer Shade, Kentucky. It's now getting dark. The guy says, hey, man, I was a truck driver for 50 years. We start talking truck talk real quick. This guy looked like, you know, I'm not trying to go into any disparaging words about the guy. He looked like somebody that was not going to be friendly and or helpful. And it was quite the opposite. To the point, well, let me continue the story. He says, hey, you trying to get back to that mattress place? I said, yeah. He said, man, you made the wrong turn. You're supposed to make the next left. And I said, yeah. Once I turned down here, I realized that, and I can't back up from here. I couldn't back up because of the situation, and the main road I came off was busy enough with some blind turns and curbs, and people are coming off those curbs pretty fast. It just wouldn't have been a good situation. Always go forward, never backwards. He says, I tell you what, I'm going to move this van, and you can go straight through my property on this gravel road, make your right-hand turn when you get to the bottom. And then the mattress place is right down about a half a mile on your right. And I knew I was close. I mean, there was no other ways to turn off of this. I mean, it was right there. I just kind of made the wrong turn. He goes, no, don't hit my house. And I said, no, sir, I'm not trying to hit your house. I kind of laughed a little bit, got back in the truck. He moved the van. And then I proceed to creep by his house, missing it by inches. Not because I'm a bad driver, just because there were only inches to give. So as I get past his house, he's got a lush, huge property. This guy's got 5-6 acres. And the grass is immaculate. Kind of like a down sloping hill at a slight angle. House up on the top of the hill. Grass is just perfection. So as I'm going down this very narrow kind of gravelly driveway, kind of like the one I got stuck on the other, same incline angle. Kinda, but I'm going down, so no problem. I can't help but be on his grass, whether I'm on the left or whether I'm on the right. I'm on his grass on a little bit on the right, on the left, so I have to scoot over to the right a little bit. As I scoot over to the right, I go to make my turn. I swing my truck out a little bit to the left, and then I go as far as I can go to get across this kind of narrow lane. Now, I needed more room than I had to make the right turn. Then I found myself not quite making the turn, and now I'm upon the guy's mailbox. Didn't hit the mailbox, but I'm up on it. If I move an inch forward, I'm gonna break the mailbox. It's on one of those posts, like almost like a telephone pole, but like down in the ground kind of a thing. And then all of a sudden, out of the house and over the hill, I see this guy running down this hill. Older guy, so he wasn't running, but he was moving mighty fast for a guy of his age. And he told me he had some kind of ailment, but I couldn't tell by how he was running. But anyway, that's what it was. So then the guy says, hey man, you about to run my mailbox over. And I said, yeah, I was about to. That's why I stopped. And I looked, got out and inspected it. Maybe I grazed or glanced, just glazed just a little bit by the mailbox. Just a little bit, kind of touching it a little bit. And he says, well, man, if you got to run it over, you got to run it over. No big deal. And I was like, nah, bruh, that's never the answer. Then he takes me around the truck and shows me, you should have went out here and you should have made your turn right here and you would have cleared everything. And I said, I know, but I didn't want to run over your grass. I was taken aback by how nice his grass is. I respect a nice lawn, as everyone should. That shit don't come easy, a nice lawn. He goes, I don't care about the grass. I said, I didn't want to mess up your grass. Man, the grass will grow back. I don't care about that. I said, all right. I back up a little bit. I get off the mailbox and I back up. But at the angle that I'm at, I would have went in yet another gully. So he says, stop. He climbs up on the passenger side of the truck and he says, stay right here and I'm going to get you out of this situation. I said, all right. About 10 minutes later, now my truck is halfway in his driveway and halfway blocking the middle of this road, which if anybody came down the road, they wouldn't be able to pass by. This guy, I'm sitting there, then I hear some noise. Then all of a sudden, over the hill, from the other side of the house at the top of the hill, is this old rickety tractor. It's an old Ford tractor. How do I know? How do I know about this tractor? My granddaddy had the same tractor. I used to know how to drive it when I was 13. Might have, I think it's got like 9, 10 gears. I used to know how to work all of that. And I'm sitting there watching this guy and I'm thinking to myself, man, I used to know how to drive one of them tractors. I wish I still knew how to drive it. But anyway, I don't know how to drive no tractor. And if I did, I don't know what I'd do with it. So he comes out with the tractor. He comes up towards the mailbox. I wrap a chain around it and fix it to the other side of the chain. He lifts the mailbox post out of the ground. Now, mind you, ever since he left to go over that hill, I was trying to wedge that pole out of the ground because it was a little loose. I think it was loose when I got there. Some may say it was loose because I glanced, like a glancing blow on the mailbox thing. So, and when I see the pole come out of the ground, I realized that I did not stand a chance of lifting this thing up and shimmying it up. I stood no chance. It was down a lot further than I thought, and it was just all kind of stuff going on. So as he lifts it up, he tells me to grab it and lay it back down on the ground. So I grab it, I lay it on the ground, I get back in my truck, I make my turn, and then I stop and I come back and I lift up the telephone, well, the post with the mailbox on it. I put it back down in the ground, pack the dirt around it. I open the mailbox, I hand him his mail, and we sit there and we talk for a minute. And then I leave. And I go right back to the mattress place, bed frame place, and I give it a little speed, get right up that hill, even better than my first try, back my trailer in, and I shut down for the night. Now, since I had 2.5 hours to get to the nearest truck stop, I decided that wasn't going to happen. It was best for me to shut down there. The good thing about it, I don't lose those 2.5 hours. When I get them back, I'll just have to drive them in the morning instead of finishing my night with them. If I had judged the book by the cover, I probably would have had a different... See, and this is what I mean by energy. I probably would have came to the situation with a different energy, which would have made this guy respond in a different energy. But man, this was one of the nicest guys I had ever met. Gave me a lot of tips and insight about trucking, and I'm glad I met him, and I feel like we're both better off for that encounter that we had for each other. Now, I don't know what he's saying about me on his podcast. Probably say I fucked his mailbox up. But there was no harm, no foul. We shook hands. We walked away laughing. And I'll probably see that guy again because I know I'll probably be going back to make another delivery at the bed frame place. Now, I've been in some what you would consider rougher areas like New Jersey or Atlanta with some grimy truck stops. But for a moment, I don't know, man, I felt a little uneasy being in the middle of nowhere. Wait, I think the guy's coming up to my truck to repair it now. Is he coming to see me? Hold on. Nah, he ain't coming to see me. How long have I been waiting here to get my truck? Did I wrap up that story? Oh man, I was kind of nervous sitting in that parking lot in that middle of nowhere all night. My phone didn't have service and my hotspot on my phone wasn't working. Of course not. I don't know if I slept too good that night. But that's just how trucking is sometimes. Sometimes most of the times, all of the time, you have to make the best of the situation. So it was either me driving 2.5 hours at night in the mountains, or hell, I woke up 5 a.m. the next morning, and 5 a.m., 2 in the morning, what's the difference? It's pitch black. The next morning I wake up, I did those 2.5 hours in the dark, in the rain, and it was fog that was so thick I could barely see the mirrors on the hood of my truck. That was the scariest thing I've had to do. I don't like the fog. I don't like the mountains. Mountains and fog, I don't like it. I saw cars pass me with their brake lights on, and I saw them disappear into the night. You couldn't see anything. And then you get in that fog and you feel like you're in some sort of vortex where you don't know if you're going forwards, backwards. You don't know how fast you're going. You might run up on a car. You can't see shit. I was so glad when the sun came up. But hey, that's just one more day in trucking. Shit's different every day. What do I get out of this? Had a friend ask me, what do you get out of this? What do you like about this? Don't you think you're working too hard? Don't you think you're putting too many hours in? I don't know about all of that. I still thoroughly enjoy what I do. I just wish it wasn't so hectic and frantic all the time. The deadlines are very tight. It doesn't give you any semblance of a personal life, but I'm not looking for a personal life. I'm looking to drive a truck, and that's a lifestyle. That's a sacrifice. And not for nothing, I like not being broke. I like not having bills, and I like knowing when I got my check, when I get a check, the whole check and nothing but the check is mine. And that's what's up with that. I appreciate your support. The Soul Brother, the SBKShow.com. That's the website. The phone number's on the website. It is working now. I don't know what was wrong with me. I have fixed it. I guess I fixed it. I guess it's working. So you can leave messages. I would love to hear from you. And call up and talk about anything, any subject, anything you want my opinion on. You don't have to just call me and tell me the show's great. But if you're a long lost friend or somebody who just want to check in, I always appreciate that. And everybody who is sending in the donations, I appreciate you. I'm going to start highlighting people on the show that are sending financial support. I think the show is worth $2. That's all I'm saying. It's really worth $5. But $2, man, you can Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal me. All of the links are in the description. I appreciate it. Trying my hardest to squeeze out these shows, even though I have a hectic schedule. I love podcasting, and it's the only thing that I do that makes me feel connected to people, because, like I said, when you're on this job, all you're going to do is smell piss and see unfamiliar faces, and a lot of them ain't friendly. Unless you talk to them, then they're friendly. Who knew?
Meow, meow, meow.
Still the only one cats ask for by name.
Well, here's an update. I'm still at the Kenworth dealership in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I've been here for 3 hours and 42 minutes, which means I definitely won't make my 3 o'clock pickup appointment for my next load, which means they will have to cancel it. Well, they actually just did cancel that load, which means they have to cancel the following load. So I missed the pickup window to pick up the load, and that load needs to be delivered to another place that has a pickup window, and everything is scheduled as if nothing will go wrong. But there's a couple of things you can't control. That's the weather, the traffic, truck issues, and sometimes your bowels. This is the supply chain, and when it gets broken, one link, it messes the whole thing up. Now, that doesn't reflect on me. Some drivers are personally attached to their loads. The load that I brought here to Chattanooga was these big bales of paper. A lot of times I don't know what's in the back of the truck unless it's on the paperwork written explicitly, or if the truck is not sealed. And when I go through and I'm checking out the truck and I don't see a seal on the back of the truck, 9 times out of 10, I open it up and I take a picture. And I take the picture just to make sure I can show them what condition the load was in when I received it. And the thing about that is I need to make sure it looks like that when I get to the destination. A lot of things are so out of your control, and you just have to roll with the punches. Doesn't really reflect on me. Things happen. I just didn't know it was going to take this long. But then when you're sitting here, you're getting pressed by your dispatcher to know what's the ETA. How long is it going to take? I just got to tell you, there's about 10 bays here. So make it 20 because they can take a truck on either side of the bay. All of the bays are packed with 2 trucks deep. So there's a truck in the bay and a truck behind them. I have the last parking space that's in the entire repair lot. When I go to the truckers lounge, there's a truckers lounge on the inside, but I don't hang out in truckers lounges, not when my truck is available. I like being in the truck. Plus, I don't know any of these jokers. A lot of these jokers in there talking about stuff I don't want to hear about. I'd rather sit in here and record a podcast, or take a nap or something, or get an Uber and see what sort of bad meal decision that I can make, which is what I'm getting ready to do now. But since I keep getting pressed by my dispatcher, look, he's got to do his job. He's got to list the loads that he's trying to get from A to B, and I'm the guy that has to take them from A to B. So it's like all connected. It's a weird system. It's very delicate, very fragile. I'm waiting here on a fuse or my fuse box to see what's wrong with it. But before they can fix it, they have to analyze it and find out what's wrong with it. It's already taken 3 hours and 42 minutes for them. They haven't even gotten to me yet. So who knows how long it's going to take them to fix it once they look at it. They may not even have a part, which will push things back further. Then I might have to get a loaner truck from my company. They may send somebody to come get me. They may put me in a hotel. Probably not, because you usually stay in the truck if the truck's broken, waiting on them to fix it, unless there's an exhaust leak, fumes in the truck, or oil or coolant leak, something like that. That way the company doesn't incur any expense. But you would think, for the sake of the driver, they would want to put the driver in a hotel so he can be comfortable. Because even though I'm not doing anything, I'm awake, I'm burning energy mentally, most importantly. And if they fix my truck right now, I would be expected to drive for 7 more hours. That might be a tough sell at this point, because you get mentally out of it when things go wrong. And it's just, I know you say you sitting there chilling, but it's not really a comfortable chill. It would be different if I told you, hey man, you're going to be down for 3 hours. But when you're playing the waiting game, it's not really a comfortable wait. I don't know. 3 hours is too long. I heard they waited more than 3 hours to see the queen, to see the casket of the queen. You know, that's a lot. I don't know if I have it in me for that, especially not to see the queen. I might wait 3 hours. I don't know what I wait 3 hours for, like voluntarily going into it knowing you got to wait 3 hours. But let me just fast forward. I'm going to tell you how this ends. Man, it's going to take all day for them to fix this truck. As soon as they come look at it, it's going to take all day. It's going to run my clock out. I ain't going to make no money. That's going to throw everything off. It's going to set everything back. But who knows? I'll get another load. I'll be going somewhere else, somewhere different than I was scheduled to go. I think I was supposed to go to Chicago, but now who knows where I'll be going. As long as I don't go to New Jersey or nowhere in the Northeast, I'm good. I'm chilling. So I'm going to go in here, see what's going on with this truck situation, and then I'm going to have to look and see what my options are that are relatively close, that I'll probably have to get an Uber to take me somewhere, because none of the food that can be delivered is anything that I want to eat. Not that I'm going to make a better choice once I get somewhere. I just have no idea. We'll have to see. All right, I'm out from Chattanooga.